All right. I'm just going to start drawing, and we'll ease into some conversation. A lot's happened this week, of course. This probably looks the straightest for you guys. If I seem a little subdued, like I said, it's been an eventful week. Last weekend, I went to a service for a longtime Mad Magazine contributor, editor, artist, writer, Nick Meglin. He had worked at Mad for like 60 years, which is a hell of a long time. And then obviously followed by the news Monday of Stanley's passing. There was a part of me that didn't really want to stream, but I don't think I'm going to say too much, honestly. And it's not because I don't have stuff to say. It's just that I did post a thing about how meaningful his work was to me, and I think I'll probably leave it at that for now. As you can imagine, there's going and I just didn't feel comfortable. I just felt that I I still have to kind of work through all of it myself, as I think a lot of people do. We knew obviously that Stan was, he was up there. He was at an advanced age, and so you knew for sure that no one lives forever. But at the same time, it was hard to really prepare yourself for that moment. And I wanted to say something about not just what a great guy he was, or how he made you feel, or how amazing all the characters were, but really about the message of his work. And I do feel that was a message, and a very important message, and a very meaningful message, and it's something that permeated all the stuff that he created. If you look past the superpowers and the colorful costumes and the names and stuff. So, an event that I was at with Stan, we were kind of in the green room, I guess, but it was also a private signing meet and greet or something. I don't know what it was, but I was just invited to hang out, so we just hung out in the back. And my assistant put his what were those things back then? It was like a camera. What were they called? It was like yeah, I think they were called flip cameras or something. They had a USB port kind of built in. I think he just set it on the table and he just started recording. And so I've got all these clips of me just kind of hanging out with Stan, and he's like razzing me or whatever. But it's the most mundane conversation you'd ever expect. But it's we didn't know we were being recorded, and we're just hanging out. And at some point I'm like helping him set up or I think I was helping him tweet some things out or something. I don't know where showing him how to use his phone. So, and some of it, like a ton of makeup. My voice. It just sounds so weird. It sounds like I'm eating like marbles, not Marlboros, but marbles. Obviously, I'm drawing one of Stan's greatest creations, Spider-Man, in his honor. And I think I have some other art that I've never really posted, shared online. One has Wolverine, Captain America. Another has Galactus and Silver Surfer. And I will post those when I take a little break onto our Discord channel for you guys to see. I think I'll post it live at some point on Insta. Supporters of this stream and have been amazing comics fans, a sneak peek. Okay. So if you're wondering what Discord is, and if you're not much of a gamer, you'll be probably one of those kind of scratching their heads. The helpful mods will help you out in that. So Spider-Man is actually a very easy character to draw structurally, right? He's wiry, and the more animated you can make him look, the cooler he looks. So you can go pretty crazy with the proportions. You can get very elastic with his musculature. But there's other things that just which I'll get to that is elements of his costume that have made me less crazy about drawing him more. And obviously he's been interpreted a number of different ways. So he's a character that can be interpreted with a fair amount of variance and still work, which is always kind of cool. So if you notice, I'm like really exaggerating kind of the bulk in his forearms, and then creating more like digits. Kind of pads on the fingers. They're almost like frog fingertips, if frogs have fingers. This marker is dead. It's a 0.4. It should give me a lot thicker line, but it's not. But it's alright. I'm not even really so concerned about the lines it's giving me. I know I have to go back in and beef this stuff up anyway. It's about really just kind of creating a final line over the pencil lines, which are gestures. Congrats, VZA, 140,000 subs on YouTube. Very nice. Well done. I'm not sure what I'm going to do background-wise, but let's try this. Create a bit of a spider web geometry. I have lived in New York. I had a sublet back in the when did I live there? Like 1990. And then I actually owned an apartment, a condo, from two. Why do you ask? And this is probably my favorite part of the Spider-Man costume. And I'm not being facetious here. And the part that's actually the easiest. And as soon as I say that, I screw it up. Oh well. Except if you were drawing this character in a book, to think about it. I'm sure if I did this a lot, it would be easier. But I even question that depth, the distance between that. It's not just that you have to have the webbing go in the right direction. I like this spacing, the distance between here and here and here and here, and the width of here and here. I'm less crazy about that, but that's kind of what I default to. I've noticed it's like your signature. You can't always control it. But it just seems to be the kind of the natural spacing my body, mind, whatever, seems to think looks right. Okay. See how those lines are kind of breaking up already? Right there. You just got to get it in there properly. There's no room for that stuff. Auto mod. Very smart. Very AI. Last night I went to go see a movie, and my phone like alerts me because the movie's on my schedule, and it's like, do you want to go into I don't know what the mode is, semi-privacy mode, or basically you don't get messages, don't pop through and stuff like that, or it doesn't ring. So if you think about the fact that AI is already listening in on all our conversations through Siri and Alexa, the day's not too far from now where your phone will ask you, hey, you have a lot of emails. Do you just want to read the important ones that need your immediate attention? And it would know from your past emails and who you email first, how you prioritize it, even just subconsciously, and through the urgency of the actual text in the email, which ones it should alert you to. It's like having a computer assistant, which is both interesting and frightening at the same time. But you see how you have to nail this pretty close to this line here. You don't want it to be halfway. Like I said, there's a way to do it, make it look elegant, and have all like it's like the bricks in a house. Like if they're off by a little bit, it looks jacked. There is a way to do it. See how I like kind of crossed over the line right here? It's very hard to tell. That right there. Super annoying. So the way to do the webbing is if you have to do it super careful like this. And there's very little things on the physical form that I like drawing at that speed. And if you do it correctly, because this part is super deep in perspective, this angle of the webbing is going to have a completely different arc than this one and this one. So this is going to be flatter and this is going to be more in perspective. So more what's going on over here. This leg is super long and probably looks better if it was shorter like this, given where the calf is. All right, let's just put in some chunky black shadows here. And for those of you wondering, like, what the heck I'm doing, there are muscles here that I can kind of visualize three-dimensionally, I guess. And I have some line work to suggest where they begin and end. And so that allows me to go in and drop these shadows in a way that reinforces some of the decisions I was making. I'm not sure if I'm going to drop a shadow on those feet or whether I'm going to do webbing on them. And I forgot webbing line right there. I know the conversation has not been very scintillating, but like I said, I think certainly drawing one of Stan Lee's greatest creations, you can't help but think, again, a little bit about his legacy and the man who he was. And I think there's a part of me, I guess, knows that we'll be talking about it in the future. And I hate repeating myself like I'm performing my best of stories. So I don't know. I'm just waiting. I don't know what I'm waiting for. You know, this other thing about the character, you can't put too many spotted shadows on the costume because it kind of obliterates the webbing. It starts looking kind of funny. So you can put some like this, but you can't put too much, I don't think. Well, maybe you can, I don't know. Let's see what happens. So watch. Yes. I don't want to do it. There's certain rules, I guess, that work well with this kind of costume. The pattern is super critical. So once you start breaking up the pattern, you just have to be very aware of kind of what happens when you break it up like this. All right? Oh, I just want to put some shadows right here. That means I have to do white webbing on black. All right? If it was a normal costume, it didn't have webbing, I would just spot a black shape and just cast it across. It's hard for me to explain. I think you'd have to just kind of draw it and see what happens when you draw it. All right, like so that black shape there, is that the blue part of the costume or is that shadow on the red? It's a shadow on the red, so then I feel beholden to draw the webbing lines over it. So I'm going to do this one, and then I'll do one other piece, which will be a silent auction. We haven't done one of those in a long time. is where I'm basically pulling out the areas that shadow went. We'll fix the webbing that I inadvertently screwed up there. I hope. And basically have to draw through here. I'm drawing to the black here because I can still see it. And then, of course, I will use whiteout to pull out those webbing strands. Tools. They're on my Twitch page. I think there's a page which has all the tools that I use and the links if you are so inclined to buy the same tools. But I always tell people, like, if you have the ability, try different tools and use the ones that work for you, that you like. Not everyone uses the same tools, you know. Okay. Snake edition. I don't even know what that is. My version of a snake. just add a little bit more. Hopefully you can see that. It's starting to shape up. I just need to clean up some of these. Same thing, clean up some of these web shapes. They're very kind of, they look drawn by a weird object. Alright, just clean those up a little bit. Add a little bit of rendering, some line weights, which I've covered before. Right. You have to use a fairly thick marker to make it compete and stand out from the webbing, web lines, which have a certain value onto themselves. The cheers, the bits. If the mods want to place the URL of where we're going to go raid afterwards, when the stream's over, we like to go to another creative's stream and kind of drop in on them, say hello. Unless Kara is still streaming, we can go drop in on her. Forever. Okay. All right. The stream is free, and sometimes the sketches are as well. Okay. Okay. Alright, so I see that the stream is in emote only mode. Alright, which means that if you want to be eligible, you have to type in specifically, not the bat one, but Jim Lee, that's capital Jimlee, capital MACE, MACE. That is proof that you are a sub 10 member, and those are the only ones that will be eligible to win here. Okay, so you get the gist of it. This is the giveaway. I'd probably go in and continue to tweak it even after this, and look for it on the Discord channel at some point, and eventually on Instagram. And this one is for you, Stan. Okay.